In my quest to make a mark on the culture and leave hip hop proud, I'd like to welcome you all to another episode of The Essence. The Essence is presented by Tent TV, powered by validatedmagazine.com and Live 89 FM. Today, I got a legend in the house, man. Originally from the group Black Sheep. Of course, they spawned hits like Flavor of the Month. The choice is yours. He's also part of a group called Evitan with Jerobi from A Tribe Called Quest. He has a new project that's coming out soon with none other than J Dilla. Rest in peace to J Dilla, definitely, man. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you all to welcome Dres from Black Sheep to The Essence. What's going on, brother?
Everything's good, man. Part of my lighting issues right now. I'm actually in the car, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, before I even move.
You good right there where you at, right? Definitely, man. I'm not gonna keep you long, man. I'm just gonna run right into these questions, man. Let's make this happen, man. First I want to say thank you for doing this. It's a pleasure to have a legend like yourself on my platform, man. What you brought to hip hop, man, is unquestionable, man. It's timeless. It stood the test of time. It's gonna continue to do that, man. And I thank you for just being a part of this platform with me today, bro.
No love, man. Thanks for having me, Show.
Absolutely. What's your earliest memory of hip hop culture?
Probably like my first cousin F. He's maybe a year too younger than me, and he had got some turntables, and I was visiting. I was visiting my grandmother's. She lived with my grandmother at the time, and so I'm over at my grandmother's house, and my first cousin got some turntables, and he had 5 minutes of funk. He had what else? He had AJ Scratch.
Right.
Yeah. and like he just got him. Like he might have had him a few days. So we both trying to finesse, these records. And we finally was able to kind of make a little sense out of. This is the first time I'm touching vinyl, and first time I'm like, on a turntable. Like, I've heard what's available at the time, and that's resonating with me as well. But when I first tried to backspin, a piece of vinyl,
Right.
I was like, yeah, like it was almost like learning how to hit a 3-pointer.
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like you're not just gonna walk on the court and hit a 3-pointer.
Definitely not.
Like you're going right. You're gonna have to work up to that. You're gonna have to start a layup, start a free throw. Work your way back to the key.
Yeah.
Until we could make sense, but we got to the point quickly where we could each other. Within like a day or so. But that's how intent we were on. Developing.
Right.
On what this was. What I'm saying? Not all your friends are gonna be able to tell you that they know how to backspin.
Right.
Or or just have a conversation with you about vinyl.
Right.
So, at that point was, it was real for me. Like, okay, I see what this is and I want in. And I don't think I pursued it outright, whereas I was like, this is what I want to do. But I wanted to be able to hit a 3-pointer. What I'm saying? Like I don't know if I'm playing NBA, but I do want to know how to hit a 3-pointer. When I go to the park, I'm hitting 3-pointers in catch space. I might never play in the garden,
right,
but I'm be nice with a 3.
No
so
doubt.
I look at it from that standpoint. What I'm saying? But as the music was, the time was young, hip hop was young, not brand new, but young. What I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to kind of assert myself into a slot where, like there was a lot of slots to be filled. Right. And it was okay that you weren't, like I think like kind of once Jay-Z said there's a blueprint, what I'm saying? I think he kind of signed off on following one.
Right.
What I'm saying? What I'm saying? And, prior to that, like now you like I had to cover, we covering up our what our test is. Like, no, you can't copy from me. You
Right.
scratching a little, like, like, don't say my rhyme. Like, I don't want you to sound nothing like me.
Exactly. That was a straight violation back then.
Right. We got on by sounding like nobody. These days, cats get on just like somebody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's where, like where the music is sounding monotonous because everybody's trying to follow the blueprint of the dollar.
Right.
As
right.
opposed to, like what their heart tells them about music. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is at the moment. Hopefully, like things, the limelight moves around. You know what I'm saying? Like things happen kind of in fads. So, I can see the younger generation definitely starting to weigh who we are, because honestly, like the real young cat to whoever's current right now, they older them too. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not just, like whoever he's old to them. You know what I'm saying? It's so now they're weighing old music.
Right.
As opposed to what cats said we were and what they said they were.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now they're all on the same plate, and they're sampling it and seeing what tastes good.
Yeah.
And I know what we bring to the table. You know,
for sure. Definitely. What was some of the challenges or sacrifices that you had to make back in the 80s or the 90s when it came to you trying to get a deal? Like, what did you have to go
through? Well, to do our demo, I literally I just have a little hustle aesthetic to me, you know what I'm saying, like prior to music, you know what I'm saying? And I used to have jewelry, a little have you, this and the other. And when me and Long decided to make a demo, back in the day, like a 2-inch tape cost $200. Studio session minimal was going to be $50 an hour.
Right.
You might find a 16-inch spot. A 16-track spot for maybe a little less, maybe 30, 40 hours. But minimal 24, a 2-inch spot, minimal $50 an hour. And in the 80s, we kids, you know what I'm saying? So I bought my jewelry, and right there, when I got the money for the jewelry, I gave half of it to Long. And I was like, we'll make a demo. You know what I'm saying? And we'll give the demo to Red, to all the natives, this and the other, and we'll see if we could have them help us moving forward. We gave it to Red, and Red was blown away. Red had a sister by the name of Dave Funkenklein. Dave, God bless him. You know what I'm saying? Dave made a bunch of calls on our behalf to Rush, to, a bunch of different labels. And we're taking meetings, and, you know what I'm saying? And, out of all of the meetings we took, it seemed like Polygram, which was primarily a rock label at the time, they were really, they had just hired Lisa Cortez and Dave Gossett, who were from Def Jam, and they were hungry for some hip hop, and these were hip hop cats, and we would be their primary focus.
Right.
To me, than being a small fish over at Def Jam.
Yeah, no, I've heard you talk about that. And Leon didn't know y'all music, and that didn't seem like it would be a great fit for you. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because, and not to say that I don't know if I made the right decision, but it just didn't feel right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I went with that. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes in life, sometimes in life that's what it is. Sometimes in life, live. You know what I'm saying? So it just didn't feel right. It felt like nah, they don't. At the time, I don't know if I just caught them in that moment or what have you. But it definitely didn't feel like something that I wanted to be standing next to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I was a fan. And that was, I guess that was the first time that I would meet situations or people that I thought were one way, and come to realize it ain't nothing like that. Thing.
Yeah.
You meet that you have a little, adoration for, and sometimes you question.
Yeah, absolutely. People in the culture and people, that are fans of hip hop and huge collectives, they always talk about, what Wu-Tang Clan did and how it was so monumental. And that's a fact, but because they had so many members. Now, a lot of people often forget about the native tongues and how many groups was in that collective and how many artists was in that collective, which was massive at that time. What was it like being a part of that collective, and how competitive were you all with each other back then?
Yo, it was an amazing time, man. Like I look back on those days so fondly because, like, you got to realize that we're talking about some of the dopest artists in
Yeah,
hip hop history.
yeah, man,
You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
Soul, the Tribe Called Quest, the Jungle Brothers, the Queen Latifah. You know what I'm saying? Like to be in that room is crazy.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like I found myself, we found ourselves young artists in that room, in that position where, they all of them are who they are.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And we're trying to put it together. We're trying, like we're blessed to be embraced by them. You know what I'm saying? And and that really was through Long. Long had met Red Alert years prior in North Carolina, and Long was my little man.
Right.
So yeah, I met Red Alert that we was all at. Long was cutting on the turntables, and he was so small he had to stand on milk crates, stand over the turntable. His name was Shorty Doo up at the time. So Red sees him and is like, like, where you from? He's like, I'm from Brooklyn, but I live here now, but I come to New York every summer. Right. So Red gives him his number and is like, yo, next time you come to New York, give me a shout. So he comes that summer. It's Red. Red takes him to the studio, sits him down with Mike G and Africa. Jungle Brothers working on their first word. That's when they working on their first album. So every summer, Long will come up, and he develops a relationship with everybody. You know what I'm saying? So when he graduates from high school, he comes up, and he's, like, this is what he wants to do. I had graduated a few years prior, came back to New York, was on my own doing a few things, and some of them worked, some of them didn't, and I'm, paying the price for the things that didn't.
Right.
And
right.
But I'm straightening myself out, and I'm moving forward, and I'm working and coming from lunch one day, Midtown Manhattan, and who do I pass? Mr. Long from North Carolina, and he had just got, there to live, and he didn't have a place to really, he didn't have a stable situation, for a place to stay. I had just got an apartment, bedroom in the Bronx, and this is my word, like, like it's kind of a bug because you think of it now, like if you bump into somebody you was cool with in high school, a few years after high school, you're not gonna invite them to live in your.
This is true.
Something about was Timmy, like he was my little man. You know what I'm saying? Like part of me to be okay. I didn't really know to the degree that he was entrenched in music at that moment. So that didn't have anything to do with it. You know what I'm saying? It was that he was my little man, and I wasn't really offering him to live with me, like, come on, I'm gonna take care of. I was like, come get on your feet,
right?
More so. You know what I'm saying? And however long that. And then that's what it is. But we good, we solid. Like we good. So the next week he comes, and when he comes, he brings his turntables and records. I'm like, oh, I'm blown away. Like, you still doing this? Oh, snap! Like, I ain't seen him in years. Like, I'm blown. Oh, so he brings it. He's got 4 records in his pile, 5 records in his pile, 3 records in his pile, 6 records in his pile. And he goes, when I'm breaking out, I'm like, yo, what's each pile for? And he pulls it up and he play one record, might be, a break beat. Play another record, this the bass that's gonna go on that. Pull another record, this the horns that's gonna go on that. Right, and each record represented a song. One of the records, literally, at that moment in time when I'm asking him, one of the records was Counting Sheep. You know what I'm saying? Like, looking down in his head, we didn't have equipment. He's a DJ. All he had is turntables and records. But he had stacks of it. And he had how it sounded in his head. And this is what we drew from for our demo, and from our demo, Counting Sheep made it always loud. You know what I'm saying? But that was on our demo. You know what I'm saying? But just say, there was a genius to what he was capable of, and necessity being mother creation. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't have equipment, but that didn't stop him from creating.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like that was the beginning of us. But that all kind of, for me, so really got lit. The wick got lit when my cousin came, with had some turntables and had some vinyl, and and we trying to teach ourselves how to
Absolutely.
DJ.
Absolutely.
Wow.
That's dope. That's dope. So like from our generation, from the 80s and the 90s, a lot of us are getting old and a lot of us are passing on, man. Like recently, we lost Ecstasy, we lost DMX, we lost Black Rob, Prince Markie D, Shock G, and the one and only Biz Markie, man. Do you have any memories of those artists? And if you do, what are they? Or did you just like enjoy watching them perform their craft coming up? Like, what kind of memories do you have of any of those artists?
All of them, man. Of all of them. Like Rob was my dude, man. Me, Rob, and Cheetah, and hung out many a night. You know what I'm saying? When our records were out, you know what I'm saying? Like literally running around, wowing and
Yeah.
laughing, tipsy, and all the above, and just like it was a great time to be afforded. You know what I'm saying? And to like Biz was my dude. Like like Biz was just so cool, and the shit and talk to Biz was like it was hilarious. It was so many things at once. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it seemed like Biz seemed like the person that like Biz would show you like his coloring book from third grade because he still had it. You know what I'm saying? Like like everything. Like Biz was like he was a special person, man. Like and and even how he thought, like like he'd ask you, like something that was so way over there, but it had something to do with how he put together something in hip hop. Why he asked you that? You know what I'm saying? And it might not even appear that way, you know what I'm saying? But Biz was just he was diabolical, definitely. Like
Definitely.
and it was to love him, man. Like that's it. Like to know Biz is to love Biz. Period. He was just a cool dude. And it's my word. Like it still blows me away that some of the people we're talking about know me by my first name. Like what I'm saying? Like it blows me away, man, because like I was one of the last people in that native tongue door. Like everybody was who they were. I remember hustling and Potholes in My Lawn is playing on the corner with off the box as we hustled.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is I even met them. You know what I'm saying? So I'm realizing their power. I think more than they did. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew how powerful these cats were. You know what I'm saying? And I knew what they stood for. And I was proud to be amongst them. And I also knew that I couldn't do it how they did it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And on a low, I personally, my mother had me at 17. My father was a heroin dealer. Nicky Barnes came from Harlem to Queens to try to recruit my father. My father turned him down because you know what I'm saying? Not to say that he was anything great. When it was great, it was great. But when it was bad, it was bad. I know both spectrums well. You know what I'm saying? And so those are things that you didn't get from my first album. You know what I'm saying? But those are things that everybody else tried to make a record about. But I used to look at them and and really have the understanding, like that's not what you do when you're from there. Right. You know what I'm saying? For real. And anybody that's gonna have that walk, they're gonna have that walk regardless of you saying what you're saying. If that's to be in life, ain't nothing I could say gonna stop you. But if you on the fence and I'm making it sound like I did something with my life from that's a lie, number one. You know what I'm saying? Two, like that's not even who y'all are. Word up. I know I grew up with it.
Right.
I know what it looks like amongst it. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I move how I move, because my whole thing was like, yeah, homie, you ain't it. I know what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not worried about it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I come and you ain't it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So and I'm chilling. I'm not bringing it. Thank God I'm not bringing it.
And you could have, but you did time on Rikers, you did time in Halfway House, but you never chose to speak about that, in your music, because I'm assuming that you did that because you came from it and you knew how real it was on that side, but that was something that you didn't need to project in your image because you already knew that that was already a part of you. What's one of the things that you took away from being incarcerated that you still carry with yourself to this day in life?
One of the things that one of the main things that I carry to this day that has probably saved my life several times is a feeling that I had, and that feeling was it was New Year's, you know what I'm saying, and so it had to be 87 into 88, and I'm in my cell and it's snowing, you know what I'm saying, I'm looking out my cell, and where I'm at, I'm at 1414 Hazen Street, C74, you know what I'm saying, and like Coogee Rap, this is when Coogee Rap had the record out about Breakers Out, like it's real, and I'm a young man that's now become more than that because Rikers isn't the place where, a lot of times cats have the mentality like I ain't gonna bother nobody, bother me, I'm not gonna bother nobody.
It don't work that way.
That exists. Like
Yeah.
I feel sorry for cats. You know what I'm saying? And for maybe 10 seconds, I tried to, and once I peeped it, like it didn't take anything for reality to hit real quick. And I was like, oh, my bad. Like it's strictly by rank.
Mm-hmm.
So, so let me see where I fit in here. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely not back there. You know what I'm saying? So, so I started to become of. And, like that's not who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I had to do of, because that's where I was. And I remember New Year's, and I'm sitting in my cell, and I remember saying to myself this and meaning with all my heart. I'd rather be butt naked in Times Square right now than right here. You know what I'm saying? And this is the 80s. I knew Times Square was popping. Everybody, it's Times Square.
Yeah.
And Times Square butt naked right now to be here. Because I knew that tomorrow I could figure it out. But I knew that tomorrow in here, I'd just be looking out the window.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
And, and it was just the emptiest feeling. And anytime I'm ever about to take a penitentiary chance that isn't calculated beyond belief,
Mm-hmm.
and even then, man, like, nah, man, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good, because on my day is better than that feeling.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And this is my word. Like God has totally blessed me that this October makes 30 years.
That was my next question. I was about to go there.
Yo, bro, it's been 30 years that I've been blessed to make a living being me.
Yeah.
Like I could have never imagined that. And I'm beyond grateful, man. Like I'm beyond grateful for that. Like I'm not no top tier anything, but I'm happy, I'm healthy, I have good people around me, I have my life, and and I'm selective these days about how I move, as opposed to trying to find my way. I'm not trying to find my way.
Right.
I'm trying to keep my way. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to stay good.
Definitely. Right. So yeah, man, a wolf in sheep's clothing, man. 30 years, October 22nd, man. Do you guys have anything planned publicly? Like what's going on to celebrate that milestone, man?
There's a couple of things I'm looking to do, but really simple, nothing over the top. To be honest with you, I got a couple of things going on behind the scenes that have everything to do with 30 years. Like there's things that on the publishing side that can happen after 30 years on the master side, right. And I'm very much taking care of that stuff. So that's a blessing within itself, that the possibility of having total control of those entities after all of these years, just because of statutes that exist that some of us didn't even realize. Like they do a in the industry, man. You know what I'm saying? Like they really do. But like artists from the 90s really should know, like, 30, 35 years, there's a window where you can get your stuff. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't address it 2 years prior, it rolls over.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, if you from the 90s, talk to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because it's real. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like, we all got to handle our business. Like, like sometimes, sometimes we didn't fill out the paperwork because we didn't know. Sometimes we didn't register a song because we didn't know we were just trying to we were just glad to be in the room.
Right.
But now that we expand, everybody make sure that, like don't sit on what? No. Yeah. What do you want? I'm literally trying to do a park, and he's asking me about it. I'm trying to film. Go ahead and park. But nonetheless, I'm saying, so it's like, like there's so many things that go on underbelly that in the industry that we weren't really privy to. We were just glad to be there. You know what I'm saying? Simple, quickly point out, like when you get a deal, they'll tell you got 8 to 11 points. Now, you don't know what that means, and you really don't ask. 8 to 11 points is 8 to 11%.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, 8 to 11 points sound like you have a piece of something. You have 8 to 11% of something that's 100%, which means roughly 92% to 89% floating of your creation that you not or even knowing is in existence. So you're literally accumulating a fortune if you're making money. You know what I'm saying? And if you're making money for yourself, imagine how much those that are writing your check.
Yeah, how much they make.
And and they buy and you buy into it, and like you're so glad to sign off on the deal. I'm talking about 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like we weren't in position that some of the kids are today.
Right. And
they're in because of the leverage that our records made. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm able to go back now and I've accumulated a fortune for this label. You know what I'm saying? Now the younger generation can look at what was done here and be like, nah, like, if this record shows this much, you've made this much.
Right.
I don't want it. You know what I'm saying? That knowledge wasn't available before. You know what I'm saying? So, it's almost like, we guinea pigs. I feel like Black Sheep and the Native Tongues for that instance. But, some of us did better than others. It's all good. But just but primarily, we're the catalysts of what came. You know what I'm saying? Like we were some of the first ones that were allowed in Middle America's home. You know what I'm saying?
My next question is based on exactly what you're saying. Like, you guys were the first rap group to be on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno, and like that's a huge milestone, man. Like, if it wasn't for you guys, like, nobody would be on Jimmy Fallon or anybody else's show today unless you guys kick down that door. So how does that feel, like being one of the first to something that's still carrying over today for younger artists, man?
This is my word. It's dope, but like I do have I'm the type of dude, I don't expect anyone to do anything for me. You know what I'm saying? But I do pay attention. You know what I'm saying? So little things like, like us being the first one to do that, you know what I'm saying? Like it never comes around where like a BET. This is my word. I did so many shows on BET, from Teen Summit to just a ton. Anytime they ever wanted me to do anything, I've appeared on, this and the other. I've never been invited to a BET award in my entire career.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Never been a VH1 hip hop thing. I, you know what I'm saying? And this is my word, they probably play my record at the shit. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, like just my word. And I'm not that dude. Like I said, I don't look for nobody to do anything.
Right.
It's just that I just, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, you know, like, yo, like we put so much energy. And, you know, like I did, you know, when you do a late night show, you might make $300, man. Like, you know, like people look at you like you made it. But you splitting $600. The group might get $600.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like that's what it is. I don't know if it's negotiated or if it's something different today. But just to say, like I've never been to any of those things, anything affiliated with anything that we really help them to build. You know what I'm saying? Like not even an invite. And like I said, I just be peeping, you know, like from MTV to VH1 to, you know, and I know it's all kind of par for the course that, you know, I don't have anything current. I'm filming something right now, pardon me. No. So just to say, like, you know, I'm not trying to gripe. Like I'm 30 years in, like I'm past griping. I'm good. But it's time that I start speaking my mind, like, you know, and it's time that I just kind of like, yo, you know, like a lot of cats and a lot of companies call themselves a lot of things that I kind of look at them and I'm like, not so much really, you know what I'm saying? And not that you had to, but I can imagine if you ain't do it for me and I know what I did, what you don't do.
Yeah.
Word up. I put myself in a position, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get twisted. You know, it would be nice to be amongst, but my life isn't contingent. I've got other things that, you know, that keep me grounded. I've never, you know, I like, that doesn't make me who I am. Like, as a matter of fact, like I've got some amazing projects coming regardless. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's up with me. Like, you know, and I'm an advocate of, yo, what the, oh, sorry. Yo, I'm an advocate of, you know what I'm saying, like of showing you the difference as opposed to telling you about the difference.
Right.
I'm not on these. I'm gonna show them what I do, and they can judge for themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. You released a ton of singles over the years, man. As a solo artist, you got this new project that's coming out, D&D with Dilla and Dres. Tell me a little bit about that. How did you get access to Dilla's catalog of beats and everything, and how did that project come about, and what kind of features do you have on it, and do you have a release date for it yet?
No release date because right now we're putting together a documentary in conjunction with it. So we're gonna release a documentary and an album together. I was trying to release a single off it before the top of the year, but it's looking like I'm just gonna release a project with the documentary next year. But in the interim, I've been working really hard lately. I decided to not sit on my hands while we're putting this together, and you know, there's a lot of legalities when you're dealing with an estate. You know what I'm saying? And dealing with someone's estate, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of legalities. It seems like for every inch that we're trying to move forward, there's something that needs to be addressed, lawyers, this and the other. So it's been time taking, and we're still filming as well, like on the documentary side. But the project is amazing. And what happened was this kind of cool story. I met Dilla's mom. Like I had a show. I think I might have been in Chicago somewhere. I didn't have a relationship with Dilla like that. Like all the other native tongues, really close fights. Like they were best friends, and Tip found him, and you know, like he was mad cool with Daylight, Bus. You know what I'm saying? I met him once in passing. That was it. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And so when Cass asked me, I might have been in Chicago, like, yo, you want to meet Dilla's mom? Just out of respect. I was like, yeah, bring her back. Like in the green way, please bring her back. You know what I'm saying? So they can bring her back. She's with her husband, brother by the name of Tony. That, you know, not Dilla's dad, but you know, she married. So pleasure to meet them. This and the other. We chopping up. They're very nice people. You know, and I'm, you know, let them know, like, you know, like, yo, your son was so special. This and the other. And my family, he was family to my family, which made him family. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, yo, that's what's up. A month later, I'm doing a show in Puerto Rico, and it was a charity event. And I look down, and who's right there? Dilla's mom and her husband. So after the set, I go, straight to them. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, chopping it up with them. They like, yo, we got a house out here in Puerto Rico. Yo, come by this and the other. So I'm like, yo, that's what's up. I go to the house, and have some DJs over there, mom's cooking. And I'm like, I'm so glad I went over there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm literally in the kitchen with her while she's cooking, and she's telling me about her son. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, wow, this is amazing.
That's
you know
crazy.
What I'm saying? Like,
that's crazy.
This time, there's a few DJs from Puerto Rico there playing, spinning equipment in the yard, and speakers, like, amazing. Full, smoke, yo, great time. So
That's
at the end of the night, we know, like, yo, we just got back a lot of the rights under the umbrella of the estate. You know what I'm saying? And we're looking for a few things to do with some of his music. Would you be interested in putting together a project?
Mm-hmm.
And I was blown away because, like, and then that, like, if they would have let me get a song, a track or two, like,
right,
that would have been amazing. That would have been amazing. But to create a project, like, y'all gonna let me pick out tracks and create, I stopped everything I was doing, and that became what I was doing. And it became this journey for me, man. Like, it really became this journey, whereas I didn't know Dilla like that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know at all. So now, and I didn't know his catalog like that. I know the joints he did for my friends and stuff, or if something was popular,
right.
I knew what it was. Some of the insane things that he's done, and like, so now I start diving into everything he's ever done on YouTube. I'm listening to every interview. I'm playing all of the tracks. I'm asking my friends who are all Dilla heads, like, what's their favorite joints. Just start doing. I'm listening to everybody's interview.
Right.
Everything. It took me on this journey, and I'm meeting his friends that I saw in interviews, and I'm talking to other cats, and so now I'm realizing I need to get all of this on film, and so and everything was kind of really organic. That the film company that did Chiali's documentary,
mm-hmm.
They're called Verse. They reached out to me like, yo, you're doing this project with Dilla, like, yo, we would love to film it. Thank you, Universe. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So because I went to Cheese premiere, his documentary is coming out on Netflix. It's amazing. But I'm just saying, so I already know what they capable of. So they down to do this. So so we started that, and so the album is probably about 90% done. I found out that there's a couple of tracks that I'm gonna have an issue with. Like, these are the things I'm finding out. A couple of tracks I'm gonna have an issue with, so that I gotta revamp them or go do whatever I'm gonna do with them. So I'm doing that in the interim as well while we're filming.
Okay.
And right, so the project has features like from Bun B to Freeway to my man Alexander Simone, who's the grandson of Nina Simone, to Corey Guns, to Chuck D, to CeeLo Green, to my son, to Del the Funky Homo Sapien, to Jay Sands. I got like, yo, the project is popping.
That's a crazy lineup.
Source Money. Yeah, Chiali's on it. Like, it's special. It really is a special project. And whenever it comes out, like, I just want it to be right. So that one I'm kind of just slow walking because I want it to be right. I don't want to misstep walking with Dilla.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And it's my word. The tracks are Dilla's tracks, and like, some of them, I like, even in picking them, like, I didn't know which ones everybody heard or which one a few people heard or which ones nobody heard, or I just picked what resonated. So some of them I picked wrong, whereas I should have picked all things that nobody really, but I didn't know. So I just picked stuff that I liked. So a few of them I had to do a few different things, but that was just part of the process of making it what I wanted. But the project it's amazing. It's an amazing project. It really is, and people are also going to hear me in a way that they've never heard me before. I definitely kind of do a few different things on it that people are going to be like, oh wow, like like it's something special. Like it really is, and I'll let it speak for itself when it comes.
Absolutely, can't wait to hear.
It's special. But I got some more special stuff that's coming before that now. Because what I decided to do is that project represented a lot of my time, like a couple of years down there, especially with the COVID. Like I did it on my own. Like, what I'm saying? Like, there's no company. I personally did that. I personally reached out to people I had relationships with, and I did everything that it took for me to put that album together.
Mhm.
And so in putting the documentary together and all of the legalities that and the other, I found myself sitting on my hands, and that's not what I want this to be. I don't want to be sitting on my hands with all my eggs in one basket.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To do, like, there's a bunch of dope producers out here. A lot of them are my friends, you know what I'm saying, that I've never worked with. So what I've decided to do is do a series of EPs with cats that I think are dope. Some of them are brand new, some young, some of them are real old friends that I've been kicking with. Some of them don't even know that I'm coming to get them in a second. But I'm working on, and the two I'm working with is a young cat by the name of Stu Bangas. He's dope. He's out of Massachusetts. And a good friend of mine that's one of the dopest producers that cats that every producer knows exactly who he is, but probably not a lot more. But every producer knows that Vitamin D is one of the dopest soulful cats in music, not even just hip hop. So old friend, you know what I'm saying? He's a mentor of a cat I've worked with for years by the name of Being One. So shout out to both of them. And so I'm doing a project with an EP with him, but I'm not the only person that's doing it. There's a singer on it as well. And the three of us are gonna blow cats' minds with the EP we're doing. So I'm working on that EP while I'm working on the EP that with Stu Bangas. And the EP with Stu Bangas is I'm probably gonna sketch out about 4 songs. I might do 2 more, maybe just 1 more.
Okay.
But I already got the sing. And I'm
steadily working, bro. You working.
But this is my word. Like, there's a quality level that right now, like, just me. Like I said, I'm 30 years into this.
Mm-hmm.
If you 30 years, you're a master chef. You take karate for 30 years. Like, you're a master black belt. 3rd degree, whatever. Like, if you're a mechanic for 30 years, you're a master mechanic. I'm dead nice as an MC right now in my life. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm so far beyond what people know me for. You know what I'm saying? And if they take a moment and check out Avatar, go to poolofgenius.com. Mm-hmm. Check out some of the projects that I've released from the Black Pool of Genius, AWM/Novocaine. The Avatar project with Jerobi, amazing. A bunch of videos on YouTube. Check. It'll bring up the speed. You know what I'm saying? Jaleel Shaw's on my new project, on the D&D project. Jaleel Shaw's a saxophone player out of Philly, an amazing jazz artist. I've done some work with him, compilations with him. Check out Black Sheep Dres and Jaleel Shaw. Incredible work. And that's all I've been doing. Like, I'm not upset because cats haven't noticed yet. Mm-hmm. They'll eventually, you know what I'm saying? And I'm positive of that. My whole thing is to make sure everything I'm doing, I'm registering, make sure everything, make sure I'm crossing my T's, dotting my I's, that, or as far as my due diligence. Make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, because at some point, I might not even be here when it happens.
Right.
But at some point, cats are gonna see what I did.
That's what's up.
And I did something.
That's what's up. Definitely. Last question, man. What does hip hop mean to you?
It's everything, man. Hip hop is everything. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because hip hop is it's almost like those of us who pushed it forward, like that wasn't really our intent in doing it. We didn't intend to push it forward.
Right.
We intended to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But in trying to be a part of it, we push it forward. You know what I'm saying? Right. And in pushing it forward, we get to see what is our influence on the world. It didn't exist before hip hop was embraced. I remember the first time a beat was played on television. I remember it because a beat wasn't played on television before that.
Right.
You understand? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it was almost like Roots was on TV and your whole family ran to the TV because Roots was on.
Mm-hmm.
It was a beat. And nobody knew why I ran to the TV, but I ran to the TV because I never heard a beat on television. You know what I'm saying? But we did that. Not me personally, but me
Right.
personally.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So now that almost every commercial has a fraction of what we brought to the table in it. Now that every movie has a fraction of what we brought to the table in it. Now that everything, like you look at somebody, you see the influence of what we brought to the table in it.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't here before we did that. It didn't exist before we did that.
Yep.
And I'm directly responsible for what they're doing, just like
Mm-hmm.
you are.
That's right. You're part of this culture.
So
You're responsible. Yeah.
right. So that's how much I love hip hop.
No
Word
doubt.
up.
No
I
doubt.
love it. Word up.
That's what's up.
I see it. I see it in everything.
Yep. Everything. Definitely. Your Dres, man. Thank you, man. Once again, man. You know, it's just great to speak to the legends, man, and hear the history, you know, that often gets overlooked in our culture. You know what I mean? Like they often just want to focus on what's new when they should be paying homage to what made what's new possible. You know what I mean?
Just my word. Like one thing that I'm a big advocate. It ain't their job too. Like you know, what even me mentioning it is not me mad. It's me nudging. Like yo, I thought we was cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, are we? Like yo, you know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, like you know, like and we shouldn't do each other like that. Like you know, like you know, like one of the things. Just my word, and I made it a point to go find the cats that I felt influenced me. The MCs that I thought influenced me with Tito, Devastating Tito from Fearless 4 and Just
Fearless
Like.
4. Yeah.
And I've been shouting them in interviews since I've been doing interviews. And one of the things that was such an honor and a privilege was not only to get to meet them, but to get to know them. And, you know, like whenever I perform in New York, I would call Just and like, yo, Just, come hang out with me. And I make sure he got a mic. And I make sure I introduce him and let him rock for 5 minutes in my, you know, or 10 minutes in whatever I got. Because he gave me life.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And I wanted the people to know that you can see him in me. You know what I'm saying? That's where, you know, like I'm a reflection of my inspiration.
Right.
Word up, I'm a inspiration, and that's my inspiration. And I did a record with Tito and would talk to him on the phone, and you know, like, and he's even more special than I even imagined. Like, you know, like it was just incredible. But that's what we're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that somebody's supposed to come find me unless I inspired you to pick up a pen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If I did that, then come find me. You know what I'm saying? But find whoever did, you know what I'm saying? And make sure they good. Make sure, you know what I'm saying, they all right. Make sure, you know, make sure that what they gave to you is returned in some way.
Right.
Simple.
That's
Simple. It could be as simple as, you know what I'm saying? Or put a verse, you know, like, wind up making it, turn around and make sure the influence for you being there is all right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
To throw, you know, to whoever, and none of them people even they didn't give you anything that you are moving forward with.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you that you carry, and make sure they're good, man. Word up. If you carry,
Absolutely.
you know, make sure you carry your family. You know, the people that you carry with you, make sure they're good. Period.
Definitely. Definitely. Let everybody know where they can find you on social media, man, and follow you and keep up with what you got going on.
I'm on Black Sheep Dres on IG. Not really the Facebook dude. I'm on Dres Black Sheep on Twitter, and like, yeah, man. Some days I'll be hoping they cancel my account because I'm not opening up another one if they do. Like, you know, they haven't hacked me. I'm you know, like we're a little older. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
You know, but I'm very approachable. I like social media. I like the people that fuck. We have good times, this and the other. But you know, like it's a lot. Social media social media has become, you know, the culture.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot, man.
it is.
It really can become.
It
You know,
never
I didn't.
stops.
Yeah, it never stops, man. It never
Yeah,
stops. And you have to pull yourself away from it. I'm seeing. You know, like you have to remember that. You know, like yeah, like you know, that very well probably is the matrix. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like you're allowing yourself to step into the matrix, and you know,
yeah.
and we're talking right now in the matrix, but you know, it depletes you. You know,
Definitely.
it is what it.
Dres, thank you, man. I appreciate you, my brother. Once
Yo,
this
thanks for
goes
having me.
live, I'll make sure it gets out to your people and everything. And then also we're gonna be doing a feature on you in Validated Magazine as well, man. So I'll make sure you get that as well, man. Definitely.
Love is up.
All right.
Big shout to y'all. I
No doubt.
appreciate you, and a big shout to. Word up.
All
Peace.
right. Peace.